All right, testing, testing. Can you guys, does it work? Okay. All right, welcome everybody. Okay, cool. Let me know if there's sound though. So this is going to be chapter 1, section 4, A Course in Miracles. Is this book right here. And A Course in Miracles is okay, awesome, thank you. A book on universal love. It's a book on finding peace, finding the God within, and of course does it through our relationships. And the way that we undo guilt is how we find peace, and the way that we undo guilt is through the forgiveness of others. So the course isn't about finding this enlightenment or this place where, oh my God, I don't get any more lessons anymore. It's not a religious text. However, it does use Christian languaging, but only for the purposes of communication. So we want to look beyond the words, or the words beyond the words. I always say that, right? Listen with spiritual ears, see with spiritual eyes, and that's what the course is really about. So before we get started, I do want to share something awesome because it was my birthday yesterday, and Adam and Claudia has, they always make people feel really loved on birthdays, and probably for the longest time in my life because I didn't really celebrate my birthday really that much. I didn't have a strong, like family sense like growing up. I was very independent, so birthdays, holidays, they weren't like very special for me. I was just like, just another day. But yesterday there was so many videos that came in, so many messages, so many acknowledgments that I received, and the entire day, at any given point, I could just go to my phone and just see another video from somebody else. And it was really, really heartfelt, and some of the messages that was written to me, I felt really loved, and I decided that moving forward, I'm actually going to make birthdays a big deal. Right? I'm going to bring a lot of awareness and consciousness into birthdays in general, and in me showing other people more love on their birthdays, right? Because it really can be that. I think a lot of what our society is getting into is this like disconnection from like emotion, and it's just another reason to celebrate, right? And then also for me, it's a great place to look at how did I do my relationships this past year? Right? Did I show up for people? What did I do this past year that on my birthday, on birthdays, you can really see the impact you've made in people's lives in the previous year. So like birthdays could be a place for me to just check in on how I did and then how I can move forward. What can I improve on? Or use it as fuel to nurture and build deeper relationships with people. Show up more to make more of an impact and touch people's lives. So yeah, for me, thank you for everyone that actually reached out, and thank you for all the messages and love, and for everyone that is on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. If you guys are seeing this portion of this recording, thank you for just even being here. Right, like all. I believe that any time that we're doing one of these calls, if you're attending or hearing any part of it, it's exactly perfect for you. And I hope that, what I share about birthdays right now resonates somewhere in there for you, right? If you don't really care for your birthday, I mean, there literally are so many people every single day that don't make it to next birthday. Right? So it's a place to celebrate birthdays, honoring your life and honoring how you've done relationships, being able to look back. At least that's what I'm going to be using it for. So thank you, Adam, for all the love and making me feel, you know, celebrated on my birthday. It was very profound. Awesome. Not that I'm making it special. Okay, so we're going back to A Course in Miracles. Now, special relationships get to be healed to be holy relationships. So we'll go more into that as we talk about as we dive into the course. So let's open up the space by closing our eyes. Let's settle down, inviting in peace, tranquility, and stillness. We're going to quiet the mind here and just invite in the Holy Spirit. In stillness and silence, our prayers are clear. Our communication is clear with Source, with Spirit. So, from that place, let's just take a couple deep breaths in, feeling more grounded as you exhale, bringing your awareness to the breath itself. Follow your breath as it travels through your nostrils into your lungs. Allow your next breath to fill up and touch the bottom of your belly. Guide the spirit of your breath to your fingertips, and then letting that go. With each out breath, relaxing places in your body that you may have tension. So do a quick scan. Are you tense anywhere in your body? Shoulders, neck. Now I want you to bring to your mind's eye a golden bright light at the center of your heart. And this bright light wants to expand and is expanding. You couldn't stop it even if you tried. We're acknowledging the light that you are and that shines through you. That regardless if you're conscious of it or not, the light is working through you to others. You are always doing the work of the divine. Everything you do is a lesson for someone, is a lesson for you. It's an opportunity for the collective healing. And from that space, you can let go of anything that you may judge yourself against. Nothing you do is out of accord with the universe, out of accord with God's will. And as you acknowledge yourself, allow that light to expand outwards to any thoughts that may be coming through your mind, any interruptions to your stillness or your attempt to be still. We love doing. But as we do and as we think, we bring the light of forgiveness, and thus we undo guilt. And herein lies the peace of God. And take a couple more breaths and start to bring yourself back. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, as we invite the Holy Spirit into our work and our conversation here this morning. That may our thoughts reach out to the world and heal. May we feel the love that we are today. Amen. Aho. Hayaya. Jalala. All right. Welcome, everybody, to another ACIM. Today is what? Wednesday? No, today is Sunday. Sunday Morning Miracles. We are going to continue going through A Course in Miracles. So, if you're just tuning in and seeing this for the first time, this year we're going to be more structured on every single call. We're going to go through one or two sections of the course, the text itself, and then we will open it up for conversations. We'll see where this whole thing goes, right? A lot of times it's through your shares that this conversation gets guided to where it's supposed to be, right? So, oops. From that space, we welcome in any thoughts that you have, any questions you have. Don't be afraid to ask it and bring it up, because if it's in your mind, that means it's in this space, and the invitation is to share and to ask it. Okay. We are streaming live, so just be mindful of that, right? And yeah, coming from a space of love, compassion, understanding, I'm sure that all things will be good. I trust. All right, so I'm gonna start here by reading this very short section where we left off. In chapter 1, it's all about miracles. So we talked about miracles as being a shift from the perception of fear to the perception of love. Okay, love brings us closer to peace, which is the prerequisite to heaven. Okay, we're not talking about heaven. We're not going to be in heaven. We're just going to look at what we need to do to arrive and be ready to enter the gates of heaven, or whatever you want to call it, right? So you don't have to don't look too much into the words. Again, like I said, it's not like this is not a religion, okay? But you can replace the word God with source, with whatever you want to replace it with, right? Inner teacher, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Okay, words are simply pointers at something pointing at something else. So it's usually already two folds out. So, just kind of listen from a place of love, being open to receive, okay? Because the course is written and scribed from love. So if you think loving thoughts, you can really hear what the message is for you, because all of us listening to this text itself, we will have 22 different interpretations, but really all those interpretations are only different in form, because either they're a call for love, or they are love itself. So really the whole thing is love. All right. Okay, so the escape from darkness. Wait, let me just recap it a little bit more. Last week we talked about the atonement and the miracle. Miracles are things that happen really it's only happening in thought. Okay, miracles, just to be clear, is not like, oh my God, it's a big happening. It's not happening in the tangible, like physical 3D world. It doesn't have to be. Now, it could result in that. Obviously, miracle thoughts produce miracle manifestations in our life, but miracles are a shift in thinking. That is it. And it's also the love that is behind to make the shift even possible. Okay, so that's the miracles. Now we talk about the atonement. The atonement, very simply for everyone to understand, is just the undoing. Okay, the atonement is the undoing of all the illusions that we've added and we've collected into our lives, all the identities that we have assigned to ourselves and to others. The undoing of those things is called forgiveness. Okay, so through forgiveness, we atone, and we're only atoning so that we remember who and what it is that we are. And forgiveness, the definition of forgiveness, is really to recognize that everyone and everything is sinless. Okay, it's not to pardon actions or things like that, but to recognize that what somebody did to me did not actually happen. Right now, that is challenging for the ego because someone steals from you, somebody betrays you. All that is pointing to, anytime that you hold grievances, is that you actually perceive lack. And what lack, the distinction for lack in the course, is that you want something or someone to be different than it is. That is all like a very simple definition of lack. I could be something different. I could be more. I want to have more. And because I perceive myself as needing to have more, I perceive myself as being able to be taken and hurt by others. That somebody can take something from me, right? It's just when you're whole, it doesn't happen. When you remember that nothing could be taken from you and you can't take from others, that all minds are joined, that's the oneness thinking that brings us back closer to making sense of everything, actually. All right, so now I'll just stop my spiel for a minute. I'll just go into this section. Chapter 1, section 4 is called The Escape from Darkness. And I'll start the reading. Again, the invitation is to listen with your spiritual ears. Whatever that means to you, right? Loving ears, open ears, whatever. Okay. The escape from darkness involves 2 stages. First, the recognition that darkness cannot hide. This step usually entails fear. Second, the recognition that there is nothing you want to hide, even if you could. This step brings escape from fear. Now, that's a pretty profound 2 sentences to start this section, because the first, the course says, the first is recognizing that darkness cannot hide. Darkness cannot hide because a lot of times, wait, there is a lot of darkness and I don't know where it is. And because I don't know where it is, there is fear, because darkness just represents fear. It stands for fear. And second is to recognize that there is nothing you want to hide, even if you could. That is the escape from fear. But we don't actually want to let all that go. The reason why we aren't fully trusting in God is because we think that there is some sort of sacrifice that needs to happen. I need to give up something. The reason why we can't forgive others is because we feel like we have to sacrifice something. I can't forgive this person because that action is wrong. I got a message today. I can forgive this person, but I cannot condone that what they did was wrong. And I still, like, there's a forgiveness, but nah, I'm just gonna hold on to some of it. there is only forgiveness or not. You're not halfway forgiving. That's the challenge with the ego, is to keep us really confused about anything, is we halfway do it. You cannot halfway forgive. You just haven't forgiven. Now, an unforgiving mind, okay, brings a lot of pain and a lot of fear and brings darkness. Because what needs to happen when you cannot forgive is you have to bring a bunch of other evidence of why you cannot forgive. Your failure to forgive, you now have to back it. And it is extremely exhausting to bring all the evidence and all the constant, justifying why you failed to forgive. And what we do, and what the ego does, is we never take responsibility for our failures, or we say, no, it's them. They did it. They did it. All right. But there is something that you're not wanting to let go of. And most of the times we can just call it being right. We don't want to let go of being right. I'm right about this. That's it. If you ever want to find the darkness in your life, just find out what it is that you want to be right about. Truth requires no defense. Everything else needs defense. That means you need to be bringing justifications to it. All right. So when you have become willing to hide nothing, you will not only be willing to enter into communion, but you will also understand peace and joy. Okay, I'm going to give you a very, very easy, what's it called? A metaphor for this. The government, we don't trust it. Will you put a chip in your body? If the chip can, here we go. So if the chip can tell you anytime you have any problems with your health and all of that, will you do it? The reason why we don't do it is because we don't trust. Because the world is a fearful place. We don't trust people. We don't trust, oh my God, because there is something that you're unwilling to give up. And this is the same analogy with God. I'm unwilling to give it over because I want to hold the treasures that I have. I want to hold the sins and when I say sins, my inability to forgive. My inability to follow and do as the Holy Spirit does. I want to hold on to that. So whatever it is that you may be like, oh my God, I'm going to get tracked. The government's going to track me. Well, if you're not doing anything wrong, what's the big deal? Right? So I'm using that analogy because also I've been like, no, I would never do that. Right? No vaccinations, all that stuff. Because the world is a dangerous place. Now, anywhere where we see the world as a dangerous place, that's where we get to look. And also being controlled. Yeah. But all of that comes from a place of fear. I mean, you literally say it. I'm worried about it. This never happened. Faith means we are willing to step into something without the worry or fear of something. And here's the thing that the Course teaches us, that everything that you're worried about like being taken from you is all an illusion anyways. Everything from money to reputation to fame to your body is all part of that illusion. So what is it that you're unwilling to let go of? So when the Course says, when you realize and when you're willing to let go, when you realize that, when the recognition that there is nothing you even want to hide. Because in that other analogy, what is it that you want to hide anyways? What are you afraid of control over? What is it that you want to hide from the government? And from that place, it's the same thing as what we want to hide from God. Now, it might be form is different. No, I'm not. I don't care about hiding that from God. But the energetic field of that worrying and inability to trust is the same. All right. So holiness can never really uh, can never can never be really hidden in darkness, but you can't deceive yourself about it. Deception makes you fearful because you realize in your heart it is a deception, and you exert to a reality. Right. So our reality in our world, if it is a fearful world, if you cannot trust, if you don't trust your brothers and sisters, you don't trust the government, you don't trust people, you're really saying, I don't trust God. Or no, God, you are in me. I'm with you, but I don't think you're with those government guys. I don't think you work through them. They operate from some other entity that the Holy Spirit doesn't flow through them, so I can't trust them. That's what you're really saying, right? Is God only working through you? Because if God is working through all, then what is it that you can't trust? You see a separation from God in others. That is why you will see it in you. And so the course makes it constantly throughout the course. It says the vision of one world costs you the vision of the other. The vision of heaven is lost to you. The vision of oneness is lost to you the moment you can't trust. The moment you think there is a separation between people and spirit that flows through, between people and God that operates everything. Now, if you want to heal the things in your life, you need to start to see God in everything. The Course says you have to be vigilant about that. There is no halfway work. There is no, I can forgive most of the people, but this one person here, I cannot. That's halfway forgiveness, and that is just not forgiveness. You're just not forgiving. I forgive 1,000 people, but just not this one. No, you're just not forgiving. That's it. Right? Make everything black and white for you, and life becomes much easier. It's all the gray bullshit in the middle that it's confusing for us. Okay, so the miracle sets reality where it belongs. So now we're back to to what miracles are. Miracles establish and bring back to your mind reality. Okay, with a capital R, that means the way the world is designed by God. There's moments in miracle when miracles show up in your mind, you trust completely. And it's in that moment with just someone. And we all have those moments. We all have miracle moments for sure. Right? It just shows up like, oh my God, I totally misjudged this person. When I was forgiving somebody, when I start thinking loving thoughts about somebody, all of a sudden they call or they show up differently. Those are just miracles, affirmations and confirmations of miracles, of the miracle mind. And the Course talks a lot about projection makes perception. That means I can perceive love and forgiveness once I access it for me first. The reason why I can't is because I am unforgiving, and then I project that into the world, and then boom, it comes back as affirmation or confirmation to the thinking. We are projectors. We just project things, and then we see those things. We don't see those things and then we feel it. We actually already have the sense of guilt, and then we project it outwards, and then we feel guilt. But if we have love and God in our minds, it's just all we see out there. Our brothers on the side of the street asking for money, our friends, asking for forgiveness, our parents, our sisters, our brothers, right? We see them as holy versus as, just a person that's separated being from God. That you're doing something that is wrong, and it's going to hurt me and hurt people. Miracles set reality where it belongs.
Reality belongs only in spirit, and miracle acknowledges only truth. It thus dispels illusions about yourself and put you in communion with yourself and God. The miracle joins in the atonement by placing the mind in the service of the Holy Spirit. This establishes the proper function of the mind and corrects its errors, which are merely lack of love. Anywhere, let's go back to that government conversation. We don't trust it because there is lack of love. That's all that is. Okay, so the mind, right? The mind gets to return back to love. So the correction of errors are just corrections of lack of love. Your mind can be possessed by illusions, but spirit is eternally free. If a mind perceives without love, it perceives an empty shell and is unaware of the spirit within. See, this is exactly that what I just shared. When you can't trust the brothers because you're seeing a shell of somebody, the actions and the words and the whatever the things that they say that you judged against, but you don't see the content of the person, which is spirit that resides inside and operates. But the atonement restores spirit to its proper place. Now we're going to the atonement. See, that's a hard line to understand. The atonement restores spirit to its proper place, but if we replace the word atonement and we replace it with the undoing of the idea of the shell restores spirit to its proper place. It restores your seeing of your brothers and viewing situations and things and people correctly. The mind that serves spirit is invulnerable. The mind that serves spirit is invulnerable means that it cannot be attacked. That means people cannot betray you and cannot steal from you. Now, somebody has shared with me, I don't know what to do. They stole from me, but what did they steal? They stole something that you created sentimental values about. That means you have created an illusionary thing with this item or object, and you have made God of it. If somebody stole a piece of paper or a piece of napkin off of your kitchen table, would you hold somebody in prison for it in your mind? No. But you have made something else special. When we realize that those things are napkins and they aren't really anything, even if it's $1 million is napkins, you start to heal your relationship to that. And from that place, thank you, brother or sister, for stealing that $1 million from me. Ooh, the ego don't want to hear none of this because $1 million is real. But to spirit, it's nothing. So when somebody steals nothing from you, what are you not forgiving? Right? Now that's the proper perception, because from there, what the Course says you're doing is you're readying your mind for miracles. Right now, I'm saying I'm using $1 million, but you can use it as anything. Somebody betraying you, betraying your trust, whatever somebody could have possibly you perceived as harming you. But spirit is always invulnerable. You weren't harmed in the first place. But to think you could be harmed is that you are something other than what you really are. Because what you really are is you are whole and you are perfect and you lack nothing. That means you can't, nothing could be taken from you. So I hope this conversation kind of stems out for everyone to see that in your own life. Okay, so if you want to share something in this moment, this is a good time to share. I'll take a pause between the paragraphs here. If anything is resonating, if you want to ask something, this is a good time to do so. Okay, I will move on.
I would.
Yes, hello.
I'm Susan.
Hey, Susan.
So my question is this. So if somebody steals your $1 million or your napkin, there's an energy that goes with that. It's like, I get nothing is real, but we're living on this earth in this time. How can we realistically, if somebody kills your baby, that's not real, that doesn't happen. This is where I get confused.
Yes, so this is definitely the hard part for students of the course to grasp, and we don't really want to go that extreme for you right now. Let's take some of the lighter things first, right? Because it's very hard to go to the extreme of somebody killing your baby or somebody raping you or attacking you, right? Because the body is still very real for us right now. But there will be a moment in your life at the end of your deathbed when you no longer hold a grievance towards somebody doing that, because you're like, it's time for me to let go of this body. And you start to pay attention to the spirit that continues to live on. And from that place, spirit can never even be hurt. Okay, so that's just further down the line. Okay. And, but for now, take the things that are easier to grasp, right? So let's go with the stealing. I think stealing is pushing it to that boundary already for most people. Right?
Okay, so let's do the stealing. That's fine.
Yeah.
So if they steal your $1 million, and now you can't keep your home and you're homeless.
Yeah. So
how? Yeah.
Well, so most of the times that actually doesn't even happen, right? And not that it doesn't get stolen. Things get stolen for sure, but it's not to the extreme that you think your life's going to be. You're not going to live on the streets and you're going to starve to death. Like, we actually find out, wow, I'm more provided for than my $1 million. Right? People lose hundreds of thousands of dollars all the time in investments, being scammed and conned and this. Actually, one of my best friends, his dad, $1 million stolen from him, crypto scam. $1 million, literally. Right? I mean, it's not like he's homeless now, right? It's just, he just doesn't have the $1 million in his bank anymore. And he worked his entire life for it. So it was definitely devastating. It actually caused the family to not even talk to him anymore. And see, it's crazy because the family doesn't talk to him anymore because they're like, well, you fucked up our inheritance and all this stuff, and you weren't even a good dad, blah, blah, all this stuff. Right? Now, maybe that was a blessing.
Keeping into perspective.
Exactly. So you bring it into perspective. You allow your mind to, this is becoming miracle-minded ready. Right? Your miracle readiness is, okay, God, show me a different way to look at my $1 million being stolen. And then as you are asking and willing to see it differently, then, oh my God, I'm going to be homeless. And oh my God, I can't ever forgive this person. You focus on, show me a different way to look at this. And then the picture begins to unveil for you the blessings that actually come with that. Most of the times, if we look at the most challenging times of our lives and we look back at it, they are actually the biggest blessings for us. The times where we had our hearts broken, right? The times where we lost things. We thought we lost things, but we actually found something else that was more valuable. Right? So anytime that happens, it's not that I'm giving you an answer. It's the course itself is telling you that you're going to find your inner teacher. When the course is done, when you finish reading the course, it is just the beginning. Now, we always go back. This is my 6th time, 7th time reading the entire course again. But at the end is to help you in tune to the teacher within, the greater teacher of everything that happens in your life. And you start to develop a deeper sense of trust. And that deeper sense of trust, what it comes with is it comes with peace of mind. And peace of mind is everything. Material things is nothing. So you're giving up nothing for everything, for a chance to attain everything. Right? So that $1 million being stolen, you can harbor it and you can hold this energy for the rest of your life. But listen, at some point, you're going to have to let that go. Whether you die or that person dies. Okay, it's going to be let go. You either let go now or you let go later. The only thing that's ever happening, the course says, is you're just delaying your own peace of mind. But the good news is you can hold it as long as you want, because you will return at some point. Your mind will come to a place of forgiveness at some point. It's just up to you if you want to do it now or you want to carry it for a long time. Right? Carrying it for a long time, you end up becoming jaded, cynical, this and that, and then now you are messing up your relationships with other people, or you're losing the opportunities of relationships with other people that are worth more than millions of dollars. Right? Because now you become untrusting. You're skeptical about everything, and millions of dollars are just coming your way, but you're just like, nope, 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 nope. And we don't even know what the hell we're giving up because we're harboring grievance. Now, the line, there's a lesson in the workbook that says love holds no grievances. Love is abundant. You're either going to be abundant or you're going to be in scarcity. So you have to let go of it fully. We'll make a commitment to ourselves moving forward. I'm going to look at all the things that limits love. And that comes with my inability to forgive, my confusion about faith, about trust, about God. I'm going to let all that go. My not being able to make sense of the things that are happening in my life. Right? My unwillingness to share with somebody, my withholding love, holding forgiveness, holding compassion, patience towards somebody. All the anger and the grievance that you hold. You have to make a decision. It is, you're either all in or you're not. And it's okay if you're not. You will be. You're just not in this moment. So making it easier on yourself is actually one of the first steps too. Let me forgive myself for not my inability to forgive. It's going to happen either way. You can have fun with it, or you can have a miserable time with it. Either way, it's happening. Healing is going to happen no matter what. You can do it joyfully, or you can do it very painfully. It's up to you. Either way, it's fine. The Spirit says, yeah, you're good to choose whatever way you want to do it. Jason, you wanted to share something?
Yeah, I know maybe for some people it's a stretch, but I could just be a real life example. 2 years ago, I had over $1 million stolen in one season, and I could just paint a quick picture. I had over a $500,000 seed contract through lawyers. They killed all the seeds. They were supposed to give a minimum of 50 cents a seed, and there was over 250,000 seeds that I bred. Didn't get $1. Didn't you know, in my mind, I was stolen from. They were obligated to pay me, and then over $1 million field. It was 4 acres. They were taking it to the extraction lab, and the guy just stole everybody's stuff that year. His dad was a cop. I was, that was the same year. And then our partner stole $100,000. So, it's well over $1 million. And there was more. There's 1 year there was a lot of theft, and I know that I'm blessed that I found another way. Basically, found God. I know, Alex, really had a lot of injuries. I had a miracle performed, but finding the forgiveness and now knowing there is so much more to life, then that money wouldn't have gotten me better on a spiritual path or a healing path. And through that, in the turmoil of that year in the industry, I was focusing on other things. And as I branched out to find the spiritual path and the healing and finding God, helped me forgive. And now I know that path has so much more value than the money will ever have. And it's the money at the end of the day, you got to give it up when you die. There's no way to keep it. I think the Egyptians tried. You put all the chips back on the table in the game of business and money and finances and success. But the spiritual world, you open your consciousness, and that's part of what we're here on this planet to do, to keep doing that. And that's what we're talking about when forgiving and opening up consciousness. That just it'll get you to the next life, the next, whatever whether it's heaven or and there's so much more power in that we get sidetracked, the ego gets sidetracked. And just wanted to share a real life scenario of the reason I'm on the call here, and enjoy spending so much time with Alex when we get a chance to keep opening up that consciousness and the love and the forgiveness and all that stuff, because it's the most important thing we can while we're here.
Yeah, awesome. Fraser, go ahead.
Yeah, that was beautiful. I resonate with that because I was, I also have had some money, maybe not $1 million, but had some money taken from me. And for a very long time, I was, in the ego and very much upset about it. It's when you let go of it and you can actually look at all the little steps from that point to the next point to the next point, and the ability to surround yourself with just these humble, beautiful people, and to see things differently, and to be able to just be at peace and be, it's okay. There is more than enough in the world. There is abundance of love, and there's abundance of money. When it comes, let it come, use it as whatever you want to use it as. I used it as a measuring point in my life. And then I found out about how to measure your life differently by looking at it this way. So, I mean, it's really up to you how you look at it. And if you're just happy with the success that you have in your personal life and continually feel blessed, then you'll continually be blessed. And it's an amazing way to look at things.
Yeah, totally, for sure. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? All right. So, okay, Donna, go ahead.
Yeah. Morning. So, yeah, it's funny you're talking about money, but in my case, I feel like it was time that was stolen, in my youth. And it's interesting that you said to say like thank you to the past. It really does put a slightly different perspective on it now after all these years. But it's funny because I'm trying to look at time differently this year. I know I can waste it with the best of them. So, is there anything in the course that addresses time? I was just curious.
Yeah, the course talks about time for sure. We talked about it literally 2 weeks ago. We talked about revelation, time, and miracles. We talked about time not on a horizontal platform, but more on a vertical, right? Like we're all moving upwards. We're not moving this way. Now, if we think about this way, we think about our life, because we think about, and I'm talking about life as in the physical body life, which automatically brings our mind to a place of scarcity, because there's a time where you're born and there's a time that you're going to die. So as you age, you're going to start to have more and more fear around the end of your life, right? Versus this way, where kind of it's going up, and going up is kind of more exciting, right? And that is a perspective in thinking, because there is only now. Just because you're at a certain age does not mean you're going to die as faster than somebody else. There's actually probably no statistics that prove that to be true. Right? Like the chances of you dying like at a young age and an early age and a late age is probably all the same. And the thing is, you can't even use evidence, okay, of any statistics in the world to be able to determine whether that statistic worked for you or not. That's it. So in terms of time, I think you're going to have to give more. You're going to have to allow more miracles to come to you about time as you forgive, because time, money, space is actually all the same thing. It all rests.
Can you just talk about the layers of time going up? What does that mean exactly?
In being closer to full release of this physical world, in revelation, in miracle mindedness, revelation, Revelation. So everything that is designed for us, the Holy Spirit, miracles, and everything is only designed for it to be unnecessary. Teach you until it becomes necessary. Actually, we'll talk about it on the next week's call, where we talk about how miracles, like the body, are both learning aids for facilitating a state in which they become unnecessary. Time is going to teach you about time being unnecessary when we look at time correctly. Right? The reason the whole time to you is to teach you that time isn't real. Is to teach you that this is something that you get to release. You get to atone for, you get to undo your relationship to time. But first, we start doing it in our relationships. Right? We undo the time, we undo our relationship to the specialness of certain things, the inability to forgive things, the grievances that we hold, the fear that we hold around time, around people. All of that is all the same. Now, you're either ready to let go of it all or you're not. Right? But there are moments, only moment to moment you can decide. It's not like, oh, I'm ready to let go of it all, and then I'll let go of it, and then it's just done for good. It's only in this moment, are you doing it all or not? See, when it's only this moment, it's just a bunch of this moments stacked vertically. But when it's not just this moment, when we're thinking, oh man, I thought I was done with it, I thought I've forgiven this person, then you start to stack it up horizontally, which starts to not make sense for you. Because you're like, wait, I forgave, then I don't forgive, then I forgave again, then I'm not forgiving again. It's just this moment. Are you forgiving or are you not? Am I unconditionally loving or am I not? Only in this moment, though. Doesn't matter about the previous moments. Doesn't matter about the next moments, because maybe I am right now, but tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm not going to forgive again. Then it's the work about this moment again. Then the lesson comes back. Until you fully let go of it. Once you fully let go of it, it doesn't even cross your mind anymore. It's not even there. See, I thought when I was healing my whole thing about people cutting me off and my road raging back in the, like, I had to keep doing it. God, here I go again. Here I go again. I actually had to tell myself that when people cut me off, when people are like driving like assholes, I used to say, oh my God, they probably have an emergency. But then I had a real emergency once where I might or might not, or maybe have shat my pants. And I was like, oh man, they're probably about to shit their pants. And I'm like, wow, I can really be compassionate about that. And so I totally let go of all road rage from that moment. And when people cut me off, I literally can't even see it because it's out of my mind. But it's been practiced so much until it no longer is necessary for me to practice it. Probably too much. I share too much right there. But, I want to make a case. I want to make a point. All right. And hopefully that resonates enough that you let go of your road rage next time. Somebody is rushing and they bump into you and somebody is rude and whatever. It's like, oh man, they're about to shit their pants. And then you just laugh about it and then let it go. All right. Go ahead, Adam. And then I want to continue reading.
What's up, everybody? You had me laughing there. I think all the boys on the call were giggling, maybe because of our own experience of something similar.
Oh, great! All right.
This is where compassion comes in.
Yes. I'm glad I created a safe space for pants shitting. But okay, go ahead.
I have to do a healing circle around shatting pants. What's coming up for me, and thank you for the invitation, because sometimes I just, be with my own thoughts and feelings and somewhere along the shares they'll come up. But this particular one, there's a lot of talk that I hear, about, not particularly now, but just in general around the miracle happens within the mind. But like, I also have been noticing, like, where in my body, when I think about this $1 million or this theft or what have you, where do I feel it? And if I'm not feeling at peace and I'm feeling some kind of charge in my body, like, that's an indicator even more. Like, I can come into and have a conversation with myself in my mind and be like, yo, it's cool. We can say, but meanwhile the body is still like, you know, in the chest and like holding onto this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like these wonderful of the mind and of the body to be like, if I'm holding on to, you know, scarcity, or, you know, there's like scarcity, abundance you mentioned, and also trust or not having trust. I feel that is, you know, even sometimes like more that before I think it, like it's coming into the body, and then that where that dis-ease comes, holding on to the things. But then at the same time, in contrast, like when I'm feeling love for, you know, past relations, or I can feel love around finances even, or love around somebody cutting me off when I got a shit, you know, like all these things, like my body can actually be relaxed in this. And that's actually for me, the next step, and I'll be complete, is like in trainings of like high level stressful environment type of things, like firefighters, military, different things. Like the training is so that we can, you know, walk into these places and be calm in the body and in the mind, not lose our presence from all the stresses that are coming in. So it's about that practice, that training of every time it comes up, like, okay, can I relax, so that when I'm having this conversation or talking about this $1 million, I'm not charging it and then already like projecting, like you're sharing, like we're projectors all the time, not only the thoughts but also the feelings into the space, because body language is so much bigger than even the words in many instances. So I just wanted to share that was coming through, and thank you, because it's allowing me to further unlock those parts of myself that there might be a little bit of tension in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially around shatting my pants.
Well, I just want to make a correction of what you said. You said when they cut you off, it's because I got a shit. No, I'm thinking that they got a shit, right? Because when I have to, I actually lose all sense of actually compassion. I'm like, who the hell created this light? Why is this light so freaking long?
Exactly.
And this person, why are you driving so slow? All of that goes out the window, right? So
exactly, the higher mind is like, I'm out.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope the example works. Okay, so I'm going to continue reading. I know you guys. I know it's going to induce a lot of shares, especially from all the guys, and all the women in here are like, "What the hell is going on?" So I'm just going to go back to reading, and then we'll continue this in another direction, or the same, whatever. Darkness is lack of light, as sin is lack of love. It has no unique properties of its own. It is an example of the scarcity belief from which only error can proceed. All scarcity thinking brings about error thinking. All right. And errors are just perceiving what is not there. Errors is in the defense of illusions. Truth is always abundant. Those who perceive and acknowledge that they have everything have no needs of any kind. If you actually perceive you have everything, that $1 million, you have no need of it. See, the losing and the $1 million being stolen is divinely orchestrated to show you what you are without the $1 million. All right. The purpose of the atonement, or the undoing, is to restore everything to you, or rather, to restore it to your awareness. You were given everything when you were created, just as everyone was. The emptiness engendered by fear must be replaced by forgiveness. That is what the Bible means by there is no death. And why I could demonstrate, and this is Jesus now talking to us, why I could demonstrate that death does not exist. I came to fulfill the law by reinterpreting it. The law itself, if properly understood, offers only protection. There is no death, offers only protection. It is those who have not yet changed their minds who brought the hellfire concept into it. I assure you that I will witness for anyone who lets me, and to whatever extent he permits. Your witnessing demonstrates your belief, and this strengthens it. Those who witness for me are expressing through their miracles that they have abandoned the belief in deprivation in favor of abundance they have learned belongs to them. All right, so this is that, like, letting go and forgiving and atoning undoing all the ideas that we have around money, around relationships, all the darkness that we hide. We hide it under layers of reasons why we got to hold on to it. Reasons why we hold on to grievances, reasons why we resent, reasons why we attack, reasons why we judge. Reasons why we call ourselves victims of other people. Those are all darknesses, and they're all crevices and corners in which you are afraid to look. And because you're afraid to look, it just engenders more fear, and fear becomes contagious and it touches all other areas. Because the everything is an idea, and ideas all want to grow, and the way that it grows is by sharing. Now, darkness and the ego shares in a way and grows in a way that has you think about it and defend it, so that idea is actually expanding. So think about, I have to overcome this. Is I use this a lot, and this is in no way attacking or judging anybody in the spiritual community and all that stuff either. Okay, I got to work through all the shadow work and all the darkness. We have to work through all of it. Okay, I have to overcome it. Okay, the working on it, okay, a lot of times all that does is you're thinking about it more. The need to overcome something actually makes it bigger and makes it more real for you. Right? I have to work on the abandonment issue from my dad. The more you say that word and that idea, that becomes more real. You see how that idea is shared in a very, very sneaky way by the ego. I'm talking about forgiveness, but I'm growing the idea that abandonment is real, that this was real. At some point, you're going to be like, I'm freaking tired of this abandonment thing, and it's eaten up too many things and screwed up too many relationships in my life. I need to let it go. That's going to happen at some point, because you're going to be so tired of your own constant need. You're going to be exhausted in defending that idea, because you're going to have to pull that idea into your present life all the time to say, I'm not doing this because of that. I'm not able to love in this way because of that. See, we're pulling that thing to be making more real all the time. I need to work on that. The more you keep talking about working on that, the more it just grows it. Darkness does not need you to work on darkness. Darkness just needs a light to be shined on it. And the light that shines on it is through forgiveness. I was never abandoned. I could never be abandoned because I am created as whole. I lacked nothing. I couldn't be abandoned if you tried. Recognizing that puts a light on that darkness, and that just disappears. So when we talk about the escape from darkness, you are either all in on the light or you're all in on the darkness. And it's not oh my God, I'm always all in on the light. It's still moment. Okay, well, for 20 years of my life, I focus on this darkness. Right now, here in this moment, what am I going to choose? I don't know what I'm going to choose yet. Okay, what about right now, this moment? Okay, I want to choose the light. Okay, what about right now in this moment? Okay, I choose the light. And then the darkness just goes. And then the next moment, you go, shit, I'm in darkness again. Okay, great. Now what about this moment? All right, so it's just a moment to moment to moment thing. And if we can live moment to moment to moment like this, then nothing in the past really affects us. And we can start to let go of those stories and the traumas that we hold around it. Oh my God, I always get screwed. Oh my God, I can't trust people like this. I can't trust my family. I can't talk to my mother, my sister. Whatever the case may be. Okay, because the past has nothing to do with this moment. This moment, you simply have one choice, and that's between loving thoughts or fearful thoughts. That's the only thing that is happening right now. So the fact that you want to pull something from the past, you are connecting stuff that has nothing to do with this moment. But you have something that you're holding on to that you're unwilling to bring the light to. That's why you got to bring more defense to it. Because the Course says, you know that not to be true. You know you're hiding it. You know you're holding it. And that deception, you're deceiving yourself and you know you're doing it. And that's why there's this guilt and you got to bring it back up. You got to defend it again. Truth and love requires no defense. It just is. Okay, so it's funny because this morning when I looked at this section, I'm like, wow, that thing is short. We're probably going to do 2 sections. And then we have a lot of shares. So, we'll probably just keep it to this 1 section, even though the next section is also very short. It's about wholeness and spirit. But we'll just do 1 section every time and just open this thing back up for conversations. Now, I do want to share a little bit more about forgiveness. But while I'm flipping to it, there's actually a lesson I just flipped to. It says, let miracles replace all grievances. But anybody else want to share to what we were just talking about? Or just in general, whatever is on your mind, you can share.
Yeah, what I was going to say, and I know, like, it's not the best way, but like I used to do the same, like, oh, they're in a rush. I know I've been in a rush, but now I just say, oh, that's just another idiot. Why would I get worked up over that? It's like a dog chasing his tail. There's so much stuff going on. I could be doing that all day if I let those things bother me. But I know there's no compassion in that. Yeah, I've just kind of thought that way. So I wanted to get your take on it.
Perhaps, unless you have something about the word idiot. Right? I mean, it could be a totally healing thing for you, right? But somebody else hearing it because they have an idea of what idiot is, like, wow, that's not very nice. But to you, it's like, well, that's very nice because I'm not going after them, and my road rage is going away. So great, using the word idiot is actually helping you heal the world, unless you actually have something else about idiots, right? The word idiot itself.
Yeah, just lost and haven't found, yeah. So, okay, cool. Nice.
Listen, whatever floats your boat, whatever is going to help you bring peace, use it, right? And then but every tool that the world is here designed for you is only temporary. Just like as a mentor, as a teacher, as a guide, as a big brother for you, Jesus, Holy Spirit, we're only here to guide you so that you don't need us anymore. We're only leading you to a place where, and this is what I think about all the time too. I think about, because this is how relationships are. We want to feel significant. We want to feel like we're doing something and people will depend and count on us. Okay. It actually is happening in my family a lot. Like, I don't want to talk about it, but, because they may be watching, but, yeah, everything is used only to the point of when they become useless. Okay, so the Course says, when we have arrived at heaven's door, the Holy Spirit is laid aside, miracles are laid aside, Jesus is laid aside, everything else is laid aside because we no longer need it. So as yourself, when you're being in relationship with people, when I get to a point where I no longer need it, right? But as long as you're in a meat suit in a body, you probably will. All right. So Jaslyn or Yusuf, you guys go ahead.
Okay, so covered this.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, you just unmute. You're fine.
Okay. So you might have covered this, but it's really around scarcity. I heard you mention something about scarcity, and I don't want to speak it into existence as to then magnify it, just like you said. But I thought that at some point when I started making more money, that I would start to feel more abundant. And I heard this guy named Alex Ramosi who says he needs like $50 million or like $100 million to not feel scarcity. And I was thinking in my mind, man, do I need that much money to not feel scarcity? And I was asking myself, like, okay, well, I have this much money saved, and I thought when I got to this point, I wouldn't feel this way. But can you speak into like the feeling of abundance and scarcity? I mean, I'm starting to think like it's really just a programming. It's not even real. It's obviously not real. It's an illusion. So how can I start to feel more abundant even and realize the abundance that I have even when I have 50,000 saved, 100,000 saved, a million, 50 million?
Mm-hmm. So abundance has nothing to do with money. Actually, well, it doesn't and it does. Okay, because it's just one form. Money is a form of where you can express and feel abundance or scarcity. But if you don't, if money is too hard for you to be like, well, I'm going to feel abundant with money, use that energy somewhere else first. Find the abundance in love, in other things that support you unconditionally, and how you're provided for no matter what. Allow those things to show you, and it's like, oh well, I'm now you start to transcend money, right? And you will start to see, you allow the money to flow. Just because you have the money doesn't mean you're abundant. Like most of the times when people put money in an account, they're actually in scarcity because they're afraid to lose it, or they think they're going to need it for a rainy day. So all the worrying and the fear starts to attach to this money. Now you're putting money on the altar where it does not belong. All right, so abundance is felt like an energetic feeling. Money is just one form of that energy that shows up as you are bringing. And I do a talk sometimes on making money more like love, not love more like money, because abundance is to recognize that as you give it, it grows. As I invest it, it grows. As I move it, it grows. Right? It's not the money itself grows, but to move the money makes the pipeline bigger for you. Makes your ability to channel more. When every time you forgive, the pipeline, the channel of love grows and gets bigger. See, that's the abundance that you're recognizing. But no matter how much you can perceive it, no matter how much you think you're growing it, it will always fall short from how big it actually is and what you're capable of doing, what your potential is. You will always fall short from that. So recognize, wow, I have so much more to go. And you open this channel and you allow all the love to flow in, allow all the money to flow in. But those that hold on to the money just makes the channel smaller and smaller and smaller. And then when that money gets stolen from you, your channel is only this big, or your perceived channel is only this big. Now, if your channel is like this big, $50,000 gets stolen from you, you know that channel is coming right back, right? Because it's the flowing of money. Even if it was stolen from you, it's literally like, if I think about it right now, it's kind of like a clogged drain, right? Your money is clogged there because it's not moving. And in order for the universe to show you how abundant you are, it's going to unclog that thing and have somebody forcibly take it away from you, whether through an investment or stealing it, so that it may clear the pipe. And you'll be like, oh man, I thought this 50,000 was everything that I had. And if I didn't have it, my life would be shit and I would be homeless and I would die. And then it's like, wow, that wasn't even the case. And then your pipe starts to get a little bit bigger. And I'm using pipe. I don't know why I keep using pipe, but the channel itself, right? The abundance is to be able to feel the channel flowing, opening the channel up. The ability for the frequency to flow through you of whether it's money, love, compassion, anything. All right. And the more you keep that thing like tight and clogged up, the more you hold on to resentments too, because the same channel allows hurt feelings and resentments and abandonments and all that to just flow through as well. You know, it's like a clear channel. When you're in a clear channel, you're completely in a state of abundance because you know all things are expanding. All things want to grow, including God's design of you as the love and light that you are. That you could open yourself up to all the abundance in the world. But what is stopping you? Where are you stopping relationships and opportunities? Where are you not even able to see it? And this is one of my processes in the journeys that we do is I sit for a moment with myself with tobacco and I think about, where did I overlook relationships? Where am I blocking opportunities? You know, because sometimes life happens fast. A lot of people come in and out, and I miss it all the time. And I literally go through, this is why it's like a once a month kind of journey for me until I don't need it anymore. But The work is still happening. Just because I'm studying A Course in Miracles and seeming to be facilitating and teaching it right now, it's the work. You know, like doing this call, this is my commitment to the work for myself, even though it's like I'm doing a call for others. I'm really only doing it for me, because I know as I do it for me, it just happens. You know, we're all joining on a ride together, right? If you didn't ask that question, this wouldn't have come through and it wouldn't have been more clear for me. So it's like, who's the teacher here? I don't know, right? God's really the teacher. So yeah, thank you for that question. I hope that makes it a little more clear for you. I'm sure it made it clear for me. So great job. Anything else from that? Go ahead, Jasmine.
Yeah.
Oh,
Comment and question.
okay.
So we had the abundance. It's been like a whole new meaning for me, especially because we had an experience in Baños, Ecuador, where our credit cards, we had 2 different credit cards, and both of them decided that they were not going to work. And we had $500 in cash, $500 in cash that we just lost. It was in our pocket, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. And we were in a brand new city, 2 hours away from our Airbnb, with no idea how we were going to get it back. And it was one of the scariest moments of both of us, like, what the fuck? How are we going to pull this off? Like, what are we going to do? And just life showed us how abundant we are, where people kept showing up, giving us rides, saying, here's a bed, saying, here, let me take you to the ATM, just have it, like just offering, just constant giving love and acceptance and abundance was given to us until we found our way home and found our way back. So that has been my go-to reminder whenever shit hits the fan. So I'll leave that there.
Awesome.
And then my question is this: I've been on this beautiful, peaceful journey of la 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 la, everything's great, super present, loving, yada yada yada, and then boom. For about 2.5 days, my mind would just everything, it just went full on pass mode. Just everything's wrong, anger, pain. Like I would try to do the forgiveness game, the meditation, the reflection, the contemplation, the journaling, the ACIM reading, oh my God, and it wouldn't stop. And Yusuf kept asking me, he's like, why don't you just talk to me? Why don't you just tell me what's going on?
Is it me?
Like he would say, I'm like, I am not speaking this into existence. And I wanted to check in on like how I handled the situation. And I would love to hear from everybody on how, like, is there a better way to handle it? When those moments happen, when the mind just won't stop. Mm-hmm. And I'm really trying here, man. You know, I'm doing all the things. Aaron Apke, Alex Love, re-listening to the things. Is there anything else that I can do? A, and B, could I have handled it differently? As in, like, I wasn't speaking into existence. I kept constantly like going into observer mode and being like, this is false. I understand that this is all past. Like, I'm calling it out. I'm in the lesson. I am determined to see. God damn it, I am determined to see. You know, lesson 19 or whatever it is. So what else could I have done? And is there a better way?
Yeah. So I don't know if there's a better way, right? So everybody's way is going to be unique to their own way, because you know, we all have different ways of making things comical and letting it go on whatever it is. Now, the thing that I'm hearing here is, see, the reason why you would even be in that state is because you'd rather be in another state than the state that you are in. That's the lack right there, is that in this state of what is coming to me, I'd rather be somewhere else. I'd rather have a more peaceful mind. No, this is the mind that you're in. Can I be at peace with having this, right? It's not like I need to change it. The needing to change it is the reason why you kept it there. And even bringing it up right now as like, well, is there a different way? Well, I'm going to tell you another way, and then you're just going to go more into thinking about it, which just makes it bigger again. So it's literally, can I just be okay with it? Yeah, I'm going through what I'm going through. Great. Awesome. Cool. Show me. This is a roller coaster ride, and we're going on this crazy downhill right now. I'll just scream and yell and have fun with it on the way there, right? Can I start to have fun with it? That now becomes the thing. Now, the big part about this is you are trying to determine how to fix it. See, we can't get out of the things that we put ourselves in. And the missing piece is giving this over to the Holy Spirit and giving it over to God. Show me a different way of looking at it. Not, I need to look at it this way, right? I want to see this instead. No, you don't know what you want to see. That's what the Course is saying. You don't perceive your own best interest. You have no idea what state of mind you want to be in. Okay, so giving it over to the Holy Spirit, that would be the practice. And I don't know what that will look like, but that's it. All right, so there you go.
And happy birthday. We love you. Thank you for incarnating at this time.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for that. You had me realize that the one thing that did help is when I gave it over. So just that'll be my consistent practice. Thank you.
There you go. All right, Fraser, go ahead.
Interesting how that came up, because literally on my flight back, it was great. I had an amazing moment in one and made a new friend in another. And then when I got to Vancouver, the flight was delayed and it got canceled. And they were going to ship me to like 2 other places before I would get home. I wouldn't have got home until late last night. So at first I was upset. I'm like, how could they do this to me? Why is this happening? Oh, poor me. And then I was like, why am I acting this way? And I let it go. And I said, you know what? I'll just rent a vehicle. It'll be fine. I can get back in time. I did that, and I let all that judgment go. Not only was I able to give myself a ride back, but I was also blessed to give 2 other people a ride back, and had one of the most amazing connections with 2 other human beings on that drive, getting to know people, seeing who they are. It was an absolute blessing to be able to do that. So changing that viewpoint and just be open to the new experience that came was fantastic.
Yeah. And see, that's because that's being miracle minded, miracle ready, because now you are open to that. And now, I don't know, this person might be the person that invests $1 million with you and take your whole thing to the next level. Who knows, right? Like you didn't, if you kept your energy and you started bitching about this and that on the whole ride, they're going to be like, oh, get me out of the car. Right. But the miracle continues. It allows it to keep the abundance going. So awesome. Cypher, what's up, bro?
Hey, Alex, love, my brother. Happy birthday to you, man.
Hey, thank you.
And thanks for incarnating in this.
How do you get your teeth to be so white like that? How do I do it?
Man, all my cousins are dentists in Colombia.
Oh my God.
So anybody that needs to have their teeth like this, they can come visit my Medellin, Colombia, and we get you covered.
Oh shit. All right.
Yeah, I think they're too white though. I think I told him, look, it's too white, man. Can you lower it down a little bit? He's like, you have big teeth, so you're gonna be like laughing with the white teeth. Because if you had little teeth, it wouldn't show as much. But I'm stuck with this big teeth of mine.
No, it's cool. It's awesome.
So, brother, hi to everybody. And something came up while someone was saying a couple of things that I love you, bro. Like, all is love, right? How much abundance of love do we have? And most times we're so quick at getting mad. We're so quick at judging. We're so quick at comparing others to ourselves. We're so quick at feeling sorry for ourselves. We're so quick at all these things. And abundance is not only about money, but like health. How healthy am I in my brain? How much brain health do I have? How much physical health? What is my emotional wealth? And when you have all those things and you work on those things, it makes you realize that money is not the money is a result. But and there's a story that I want to share. When I was like 6 years old, there was a bus that took us from Medellin to a place in Colombia. It was for kids, and I being a little, I don't know how you say, I get distracted. The bus freaking left, and he left. I don't know how a school teacher will leave one kid, and because I was a weird kid, even in Colombia, my name is Cypher. I don't know how they missed me, but the bus left, and I was crying. I was like 6 years old. I didn't know how to get to my house, and some people saw me, and they took me inside the place. It's called Confama, and like all these pools, and I'm from a third world country, Colombia, and the place where I went to, it was like really amazing. And they took me back inside the place with this family, and they fed me bandeja paisa, which is like, I was like they gave me money. They took me to El Centro in a taxi, and they got me into a bus to my house. And I showed up with money. I showed up with money to my house, and I gave the money to my mom. Of course, I was a little kid. So that story of them, they reminded me that when you get stuck like that, it's all a conversation, as we were saying before. When we have a conversation like, oh my God, but if we look at it, look at the abundance. We have the sun comes out for us every day. Just that is abundance. We have all this air to breathe. I've done a couple of ayahuasca ceremonies, and when you breathe and you go to this consciousness, I don't recommend it to people. I'm just saying that I did that. But the consciousness that came in is, and I have a teacher. His name is Prem Rawa Maraji. He says that the fish are swimming in the water and they're thirsty. And every time I think about that, it makes me laugh. It's like we are so abundant because we have all this breathing and all this capacity of all these beautiful things. And when we think about how shrink we get, just thinking about money, 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 and people think that because somebody has a lot of money, they're more successful. But a lot of people have a lot of money and they're not abundant. They have a lot of lack. So the beautiful thing, like you're sharing with us, Alex, the love that you're sharing, brother, that's abundance. And then it manifests in business and in life. And that's how it's a result. So I wanted to share that because that story came into my mind, and thank you for allowing me to share, brother.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. That's great. I love that one. The fish are swimming in water and they're thirsty. That's good. That's a great one. So that's like us. Shit. So yeah.
Right?
Awesome. I'm gonna just read one more thing to close this out. We are at the end of our call, and we'll be back on Wednesday. Wait, Wednesday? I'm flying on Tuesday. Maybe we'll be back Wednesday. I'll let you guys know. I don't know the time difference, but lesson 24 in the course, and this goes back to I don't know. Somebody asked a question that made me look for this. I do not perceive my own best interests. In no situation that arises do you realize the outcome that would make you happy. Ooh. Therefore, you have no guide to appropriate action and no way of judging the result. Wait, Nelson is joining, so he must need to hear this or want to hear this. So let me read that again. In no situation that arises do you realize the outcome that will make you happy. Therefore, you have no guide to appropriate action and no way of judging the results. What you do is determined by your perception of the situation, and that perception is wrong. It is inevitable then that you will not serve your own best interests, yet they are your only goal in any situation, which is correctly perceived. Otherwise, you will not recognize what they are. If you realize that you do not perceive your own best interests, you could be taught what they are. But in the presence of your conviction that you do know what they are, you cannot learn. The idea for today is to step forward and opening your mind so that learning can begin. Now, in this lesson, it asks practice periods. You're going to spend a couple of minutes with your eyes closed, and you're really going to think about the goals and the things that you have in your life, and you want to apply this to people and to situations. You're going to name each situation that occurs to you. And then you're going to carefully, as many goals as possible that you would like to meet with its resolution, you're going to say, in this situation involving blank, I would like blank to happen and blank to happen. All right. And you're going to do this and you're going to realize, okay, so when you're doing this, you're going to have so many different outcomes that may occur, and some might completely not be related to the situation. But when you do this exercise properly, you're going to quickly realize that you are making a large number of demands of a situation which have nothing to do with it. And then you're also going to realize that many of your goals are contradictory, that you have no unified outcome in your mind, and that you must experience disappointment in connection with some of your goals, however the situation turns out. So you're going to take a whole bunch of things that you want have happen, and you're going to go, in this situation involving blank, I would like blank blank to happen. And as you go and do this exercise, the funny thing is you're going to see a lot of contradictions about all the things you want to have happen. And be like, oh man, wait, I want this to happen, but that contradicts what I want this to happen. I want happiness, but I want to be right about this thing here. I want this person to say this and that, but wait, that I want happiness though. And then you're going to start to see that. So after all that, so your goal is you're going to come to a resolution in a situation that's going to come to your mind. You're going to say, you know what? I do not perceive my own best interest in this situation. Okay, so you go through all the things and then you go on to the next one. You just keep realizing, oh my God, I thought this is what I want the outcome to be, but since I don't know what my best interest is, and and then that's the lesson 24 in the course. And since some conversation brought me to think about that, I wanted to share. All right, Cypher, did you have your hand up again?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, cool.
I was mistaken.
All right, so that is all, folks, and that will be the conclusion of section 4 in chapter 1, the escaping from darkness. All right, I'll see you guys on Wednesday for the next one. Hey, also, I created a Instagram channel for A Course in Miracles on my Instagram, so feel free to connect in there. Go into that channel. I will drop daily like reminders and quotes to keep you guys inspired for in between these calls, really to keep myself inspired. And I also have another channel on Instagram for real estate, so made those 2 channels yesterday. All right, so great. See you on those channels. See you later, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, Alex.
Thanks.